Welcome to SoFlo by Lucas Miller. Lucas's latest collection of 13 short stories, ranging from the gross and silly to heart-wrenching thrillers of cosmic proportions. Join Lucas as he takes you beyond the beaches and shows you the dark side of the Sunshine State. Welcome to SoFlo, a collection of weird Florida horror by Lucas Miller. Available January 14th, 2024. Pre-order now. Brought to you by the Evil Cookie Publishing. Welcome to Dead Headspace. I am your host, Patrick R. McDonough, joined always by my buddy, Brennan LaFaro. Say hello, Brennan.
Hello, everybody.
And also, Candace Nola. Say hello, Candace.
Hello.
And we have the honor of talking with Paula D. Ashe. Say hello, Paula.
Hey, everybody.
So, Candace, how about you lead with the first question? Throwing you the curveball, but I feel like you can lead this one.
Oh my, I get the lead tonight. What an honor.
Uh-huh.
All right. Hi, Paula.
Yep, me and Brennan are the knuckleheads.
They're going to sit this one out as just going to be me and you, and then I might let them talk a little bit. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So,
I'll mute myself.
Ma'am, since you are with us, happy to have you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, y'all. I'm such a fan, and I know this is, took a lot of moving pieces to get it together. So I'm stoked to be here. Thank y'all so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. We like to move pieces around. You should see the maneuvering we did for this month to get it all in. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's great.
They saved my ass so many times. My ADHD kicks in way too much in hyperdrive. I'm like, don't know how to slow it down. Weed sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with our usual question because we like to ask this one, especially for some of our newer and upcoming authors in the industry and whatnot. And you were on fire. So, let's start with this. Why horror? What brought you here? Why does it feed you? Why this? It could have been romance. It could have been steampunk. It could have been any number of them other 100 genres and subgenres. Why horror? Why is this your home?
Yeah, that's a good question. I particularly like how does it feed you? It's always been horror for me. I've tried occasionally to write in some other genres, and then terrible things happen. I'm like, well, this is just horror. So but I think I tell the story a lot. When I was a kid, I begged my mom to let me watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. I was 5 years old, and so the film had only been out. It had been out about 4 or 5 years. It was on like HBO or something, like old school HBO, not this Max shit. Like it was actual HBO. And I remember I just begged and begged and begged for my mom to let me watch it, and I don't know why. Like I think I had seen the trailer or something somewhere, and she let me watch it with the compromise being that I had to watch it with like a blanket over my head for the scary parts. And so I don't know if you've ever seen, the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Most of the movie is a scary part.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I spent
Absolutely.
about however long that movie is just underneath the scratchy wool blanket, and it had like cigarette burn holes in it. So I was like trying to peek and see the scary stuff, and it was just too much. It was too much for me. I had nightmares about Freddy Krueger for years. I should not have seen that movie, but it sunk its claws into me, and I was just obsessed from then on. And like that was with horror films. Sorry, my cats are down here and they might jump on me, and they have claws.
Okay.
I just want to
So
Would hardly be the first time.
Yeah, so
Right.
many different types of pets and kids. It's
yeah, you just never know. You just
It's
never
fun.
know.
Yeah.
Keep
Pets are
stuff
welcome.
lively.
Free sound effects, man.
It's my blood curdling scream. So that was like for my first like horror film was A Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I think I've always been a voracious reader, and then I think I discovered I read Stephen King and R.L. Stine, but I think what really got me was Christopher Pike, because Christopher Pike books back in the day were like like it was young adult, but it was like adultier young adult,
Yeah.
like it was
Mhm.
He
we would call
trusted
that
the kids.
he really did. I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of the stuff he wrote about, it was, there was monsters and, werewolves, but like R.L. Stein was more on the cheesy side, but Christopher Pike was really more like psychological. And I think
Yeah.
I just really, like, I really just, I dug that, like because that was really scary to me. And I
Mm.
just think that's kind of where that's my lane, like that's where I've kind of always felt, like you said, Candace, like that's where I've always kind of felt like home is like that kind of psychological, messed up, kind of horror that other people find, a lot of other people find really like particularly revolting kind of stuff, but
Mhm.
I really like it.
Nice.
Hmm.
So, your collection. We're here to hurt each other. First of all, the title alone gives one a moment of pause.
Sure.
Like, all right, what am I getting into? And do I really want to read this? And that's a really good title because holy shit, that's pretty much what we do to each other, right? I mean, is it not? Because at the end of the day, and I hear horror writers say this all the time, and there's a whole lot of truth in that. We are the monsters.
Hmm.
We
Absolutely.
do things to one another that we sometimes sit around and think about, and we can't even comprehend one of us doing that to another human, but then we'll read about it on the news or on the internet, or it'll be in the news that night or the next week. And then there's another horrifying story. And then we go online and we read these reviews for books that we have written or our peers have written. And these readers are like, oh, it was not plausible and things like that don't happen. And I'm like, have you seen the news? Like,
Have you seen
we
anything?
are the
Yeah.
monsters,
It's
and it's literally like we can't make this shit up. Like we got it from somewhere at some point in time. So again, your collection is fucked up. That
Thank
is the
you.
highest compliment I
I, I take it as such a compliment. Trust me, I take it as such a compliment,
I
particularly from you,
read it
Candace.
twice
So, yeah.
now.
Bless your heart.
I
Thank you.
did read it twice, and let's let you get into this. If I'm a new reader,
God.
just being introduced to horror and to your work, what am I finding in this book?
A lot. Maybe too
Give
much.
give me your pitch.
Oh my
You
God.
got 2 minutes to tell
Oh
me
Jesus.
why I want to read this book. What am I
Ooh,
getting
girl.
myself into?
I mean, it is so We're Here to Hurt Each Other is an examination of the horrible things that people do to each other.
Mm,
And it asks a lot of questions about the nature of human evil, and it basically comes to the conclusion that there really is no such thing as super natural evil in the sense of like here is the devil who is the devil is making me do thing. No, it's people. That's what we do.
mhm,
That's people
yeah.
do evil things. And It looks at these various aspects of humanity through a lot of different subgenres. There's some cosmic horror, there's psychological horror, there's some police procedural stuff. There's some epistolary stories, so there's a lot of different types of storytelling in the collection. Um, but that theme of like human beings hurting each other, that's pretty much at the forefront. And I also wanted to tell stories with, that was, you know, that featured characters who are the kind of people in my life. So I feature, queer characters. Feature a lot of characters who are members of the LGBTQ plus community, and I also feature the stories have a lot of like Black characters and Black
Mhm.
families, and that was really important to me to include that kind of like diversity and inclusion, but also to be, to kind of balance that with a real kind of humdinger of an exploration of like the worst parts of human nature, because I just think that's really fascinating. So that's what you'll get out of it. think.
It certainly is a humdinger. That's a good start.
To wrap up.
That should be a blurb on the cover. That'd be great.
So there were two that struck me like, oh yeah, there were two. There was one that got me like right in the heart, and there was another one that just blew my mind. And I started thinking maybe halfway through that I kind of knew where the angle was, knew what the twist was, and I was so totally wrong. And I was so happy that I was wrong because the ending blew me away, and I was like, did not see that coming. And it was just perfection. So Telesignatures from a Future Corpse blew my mind.
Thank you.
Blew my mind. And because you watched. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was the one that just got me, just, punched me right in the face. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right. All righty. So this one's going to my mom now because you got to read this.
You say your mom? You gave
My mom reads all my books. I passed them on to my mom. She reads everything that I write first. She reads everything I do before it gets sent to any publisher or anything.
That's amazing.
And she goes to all the conventions and stuff with me and everything. Like, she buys as many books as I do. She gets free books as many as I do because people all know her now and they have adopted her. She is the Nana of the horror industry.
That is so awesome. That's so sweet. Oh my God. Because my mom is so I gave her a copy of the book, and I'm not that cool with my mom. Like, I'm cool with my mom, but like not. My mom doesn't like horror. I think I should say it that way. She's not a big fan of it, and so she read. Which one did she read? I don't know if she read Bereft. I've never asked. I don't want to know if she's read it. You know what I mean? Like, if you read Bereft, I'm like, that's a don't ask, don't tell on that one.
Right.
But what did she didn't read, my mom read The Mother of All Monsters, and she was just like, well, do you want to kill me? And I was like, Mom, what are you
what the fuck?
Where is this coming from? No, it's a story. Like, so so like I gave her a copy, to have, so she could say, look, but yeah, my mom is not.
She thinks did she think she found like blueprints for her death?
It's weird because
that'd be a funny
first of all,
story
she's
to
write. Mother of All Monsters is like a really like old story. Like, it's like old story. Like, I wrote that story when I was in college. So that was like some 20 years ago. And so my mom had read it back then. Like, she read it after I first wrote it, and then we like didn't talk about it. And then so she read it again, and like when I asked her about it, like that's what she said. She was like, and I was like, have you just carried this inside for 2 decades? And I was just like, that's why I write what I write, because apparently like this whole like thing, like my mom just didn't like I don't know, like that was such a bizarre way to take that story, and the fact that she had never mentioned that to me at all before was really, really interesting.
Wild.
So yeah.
My mom gives me ideas. She'll call me at like midnight and be like, hey, got an idea for you.
Dude, my baby,
right,
my baby boy loved, like, he got right away hooked up with her, was totally cool with her. She is Nana.
That is so sweet.
She's Nana.
Her mom's super duper sweet.
Brennan, sir.
Well, first of all I can think of is I believe that the horror community deserves a meetup between your mom and Mama Laraka.
Yes.
Just two absolute stars of the genre.
Yes.
We need to make that happen.
Oh, for sure.
So Paula, you talked a little bit about the themes that really tie these stories together, and I'm kind of curious, would you consider that a larger theme of your work, or did you write all of these pieces specifically to come together in this collection? And also, I'd love to throw in there, what kind of considerations did you put into story order?
Yeah, so those are fantastic questions. So I can't take really any credit for story order. That was all Sean. So that's Sean Leah Thompson, who is the editor and publisher for Nictating Books, and I like I literally just like emailed him a bunch of stories, and I was just like, here, because he had asked me to he's like, hey, do you want to, I have a new, press, and it's very new, and I love your work. And he and I have been friends for a while. And I'm a big fan of his work as well. And so he was like, you want to put a collection together? And I'm like, sure. I don't know what that entails, but all right, And so he put the stuff in the order, and it is one of the biggest strengths of the book. I think I can say that objectively, because I had very little to do with it other than writing the stories, but like he put them in the order that they're in, and it's one of the biggest strengths, I think, of the collection, is that order. As far as the theme goes, yes, that is a theme in a lot of my work. I'm kind of drifting into just super weird, perverse territory. I don't know. I'm going through something apparently. I don't know. But I'm writing a lot of the project. I'm working on two novellas and a couple of short stories. And they're all, again, they're related in terms of like the horrible things that people do to each other. But one is more about one looks at kind of like the aftermath of genocide and how people deal with that. And then the other projects, and these are both still in process. I'm a really, really slow writer. But the other one is more about sort of the ways that people um navigate like sex and sexuality, but also, I don't know, kind of within the context of like, if there's, it's sort of like if people are sort of navigating sex and sexuality, but also trying to do so in a way that pushes boundaries. It's basically like, it's not exactly Hellraiser, there are no Cenobites, but it's like that same kind of vibe. So yeah. But to answer the question, yeah, I think that's something my work is often concerned with, because I just, I find people endlessly fascinating, but also endlessly terrifying. And like, like I try, like, I'm not one of those people, I don't watch the news ever, um, because it's pretty horrible a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And, and also like, I think for better or for worse, in our social media saturated lives, like, you're gonna hear about the worst stuff anyway. And um, so yeah, so like I purposefully don't watch the news because it just messes with me too badly. And like a lot of my fiction is a response to, like the stuff that happens in the real world that people do to each other, because I just can't process some of that stuff without putting it in a story or putting aspects or facets of that into my work.
It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Now let's get nerdy writer for a minute. When you read your work, it's got a rawness to it, and it certainly doesn't fuck around. But what really struck me right off the bat is just how precise the prose is. Like there's no fatty words, and every word choice just seems like dead on and well thought through. And I'm just kind of curious about your process. Is that what comes out? I almost don't want to hear a yes there, but like, is that what comes out right off the bat, or is it like, a tedious, tightening of the screws?
It's both, because I'm frustrating. It's both. I'm insufferable as a person. Some of that stuff just come like, okay, so what story is it? Not what's there's a story at the beginning, Aspects of Emptiness, Carry On, Carry On. So that story I wrote in about 6 hours. That draft, that's the only draft of that story I think that exists. It just came out like that. What's frustrating, I know that's like, what, like, like if somebody else made that, I'd be like, bitch, fuck you. But like, the thing is, on the other, like the flip side of that, so for example, Telesignatures from a Future Corpse, like that's a novelette, and it's a bit longer, but it took me forever to get that story out, because
that's a cool story.
thank you, the twists and the layering and the pacing was so difficult to nail down, and like that's part of the reason why I'm such a slow writer, because I think all that stuff matters. And so I'm not terribly like I said, like I'm not a quick writer. I'm trying to like I try to let that go, but I'll be honest, I'm always really nervous that if I don't spend that time deliberating and poring over every sentence, that that's gonna like impact the quality of the story. And so I'm always trying to juggle those things. And so yeah, so it's like sometimes that stuff just comes out and it's like, sometimes, lightning strikes, and then sometimes, it's the editing process. And I'm not accustomed to um I'm really I'm a perfectionist, and I'm also really bad at like letting people see drafts of things. So like if by the time something gets to an editor, or by the time it gets to like a publication, it's not even there's barely any editing to
Yeah.
do. There's barely any polishing to do, because I've gone over it like over and over and over and over again, which on the one hand is good. That's what you want to do. But on the other hand, it, I think, inhibits a little bit in terms of like productivity. So yeah. So it's a mixed bag. It's a current, it's a constant kind of struggle for me.
No,
Yo,
I'm hardly the first person to remark on your prose. Is there like any kind of pressure when you write a story that let? Yeah, okay, tell us about it.
Um, I mean, so the first thing that popped in my head was, well, it sucks. But then I'm like, don't say that. But it's good. It's a good pressure. I've mentioned this before. The response that We Are Here to Hurt Each Other has garnered has I never thought in a million years that people would read my very, very fucked up book. Like I just never thought that not only that people would read it, they would read it and they would like it and they would nominate it for things and it would win like that, like that. Not. Um, so on the one hand, that's awesome, but on the other hand, now there's some pressure there that wasn't there
Mm,
before. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, like I've struggled with that. I feel like my life is my writing life now is, post We Are Here to Hurt Each Other, and it's like I wonder if that's part of what's, also life is life. But I wonder if that's also been a bit of my struggle in getting the words down, because there's pressure. I mean, people uh a lot of people have remarked about the prose and the storytelling, and the mentions of like, I'm not trying to name drop, but like people have said in their reviews, they mention people like Clive Barker and David Cronenberg and, all these sorts of folks. And I'm just like, holy shit. And like, I don't know how I did that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I just, that's how I tell a story. And
mm,
so it's very, it's trying to work through that. But one thing I've been very fortunate in is that I've had, uh, like I've always felt very welcomed in the horror community. I've always felt very like from way back in the day. I think my first sale was in like it wasn't even a sale. It was like, it was like for exposure, and I could, use exposure to pay my light bill. But anyway, but when you first start, you're like, fuck yeah. Somebody's gonna publish my work. I don't give a shit. And so, but I think my first story like publication credit was like 2011. So I've been in the game for a little while, a while. And so I've always felt very welcomed. I've always felt very supported. I've never felt like, I mean, like people say dumb shit, but that's, that's true with any group of people.
Anybody, anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
ever.
anybody anywhere, like ever in
Yeah.
history, at any point in
Yeah.
time, people are gonna talk shit. Like who cares? So but I've never felt, I've always felt very supported, and that's always really helped. When that self doubt starts to get to be a lot. So yeah.
So are you mostly pressuring yourself to kind of outdo we're here to hurt each other. You're like, how do I
Yeah,
raise the
so
bar from here to here now? Like, how
so
do I do that?
Candace, what you said the quiet part out loud. That's no, no, I'm kidding. But no, you're right. That's it exactly.
I'm
And
going
like when
somewhere
I
with
hear,
this.
right, and when I hear that out loud, I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? But that's exactly what it is. I think it's
Yeah,
because I think part of it is like I've always like I know I'm a perfectionist, and I've always known that that's not the most healthy way to create, as an artist, as a writer. Perfectionism is a very kind of toxic part of your process. But
yeah.
the problem is when you create from a place of perfectionism and then people like it, what does that tell you? Like, oh, it works. So that it validates the perfectionism. So now I'm just like, well, fuck. You know,
Validates your creation.
well, if I interpreted like that, then I wouldn't have to, I might just give you the money I'm going to give my therapist next week because
You should quit pressuring yourself. And I asked that because, see, I've had one of those years where it's been like, so I'm relatively new on the scene. Came out of
just,
nowhere.
but just like
Yeah,
Overnight success.
blam, blam,
the
blam,
last
blam, blam.
18 months though have been like a ride of just I don't know how I got from point A to point B. And I did have a little bit of that, okay, how do I top Breach? How do I
Mm-hmm.
top Hank Flynn? How do
Mm-hmm.
I top Bishop when
Bishop.
that
Yeah.
went through the roof? And now I'm just like, I have so much to do now that I don't even stop to think about the last one. I'm always thinking about the next one. And
Yeah.
I always have five in the works. So I think it's gotten me to the point where I'm just so overwhelmed with things, but not in a bad way. I'm enjoying all of it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how you have that moment where you feel like the floodgates finally just open and
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Mm-hmm.
that's what has been happening with me the last like 2 years or so. It's like someone gave me permission to do this.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
And you're
doing
just
it.
riding
I'm
it.
just writing it.
Yeah.
And I wrote a story, a couple. So where I was going with this, with your prose, before I go off my tangent and explain this, um, I write in a variety of ways, styles. Like my voice is the same, but it depends on what I'm writing. So, I have Hank Flynn and I have the Bishop one, and those are
Mm-hmm.
more your general, your mainstream horrors, and they're like an action story wrapped in the horror elements and whatnot. And they're told from a very straightforward point of view. And I'm a pantser, but they were like loosely outlined, like I had A, B, C, D. When I get in the zone, like just flowing. You've been there. I know
Mm-hmm.
you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a poet at heart. It's what I've been writing since I was 11,
Mm-hmm.
maybe nine. According to my mom on my Patreon call last month, I think I was eight or
She's a
nine when I
great
wrote my
poet,
first one.
if that good.
But when I zone out, the prose hits on that whole other level,
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wrote a
Uh-huh.
short story. It's in the new Splatterpunk basement of Splatterpunk's Basement of Horrors by Jack Pantry just came out
Mm-hmm.
December 1st. I wrote a short story in there. It's called Skins. And this thing came out all at once. And about one and a half pages in, I was in the zone, just zoning.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing mattered, heard nothing, felt nothing, saw nothing. It just words on the page. What happens when I do that is it's a poetic prose. It flows and it
Mm-hmm.
has the beat and it has the rhythm and it has that cadence and it has that just hit after hit after hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so nervous when I got finished with it and I sent it over to Jack because it was so unlike anything that I've ever written except one other story that I didn't really mention it on. I just put it out there to see if people would notice. And a few people did, and they're like, "Why don't you write like that all the time?" And I'm like, "Because the different stories dictate the style of
Sure. Yeah,
prose
yeah.
you need. And for
Mm-hmm.
Skins, it needed that zone. It needed that prose. It needed that other level to hit people where I wanted it to hit. So when I zoned out and it started like having that rhythm, I let it go. And it
Mm-hmm.
scared me at first because I was like, people are going to be like, what are you doing? Because that's not my normal
Sure.
output.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But the response I've gotten from skins has been amazing right now.
Mm.
But I also feel like I don't need to do that with everything I write. I know I can do that. I know
Mm-hmm.
I can put it on that other level if I wanted to. But I also know when I'm writing Hank 2 that it doesn't need that prose because it's a whole different voice and tone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this for this style and it's this for Hank and it's this for something else. And I was wanting to ask you because when you're writing, do you always try to do you always try to aim for that upper level of prose based on everything you write, or are you writing the story and then applying the voice and the prose that the story needs? Like, do you go for prose first and that elevated, or do you
Mhm.
go for the tone of the story and then follow suit?
Um, that's a that's such a good question. And I think it's a mix of both. I think for the tone has to come first. Like I have to know, like I have to know the beats of the story, like you said. But I
Mhm.
think for me, like my comfort zone, oddly enough, is that poetic prose with the cadence and the rhythm
Mhm.
and the everything else disappears. Like for me, like that's
I
that's
thought
that's the
so.
spot. Like that's what I try to do. And anything else that's not that, I think because I kind of cherish that elevated, prose. I think anything that's
Mhm.
not that, I feel like it may not genuinely legitimately be this, but I think for me, when I read it, I'm like, oh, that's clunky or whatever, and it's
Okay.
not. But I just,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like I have a just a I don't know. I think I have sort of unrealistic expectations in that regard because I think because some stuff I've written that is much more, just kind of direct, just kind of,
Yeah.
a relaying of events. But I think, yeah, I think I do put a lot of pressure on myself for it to be in that elevated level. But it takes a while to get into that flow state, right? Like sometimes,
Yeah.
because that's usually not the stuff. Like I know a lot of people say, like just get the crap out first, like just write for 3 pages or whatever and then see what
Yeah.
happens. And like
No.
I hate that. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like I hate that
Yeah.
so much because
Yeah.
and I know like there's that, that infamous or that famous like Stephen King, saying where he's like, sometimes you're just shoveling shit and when you're writing and I get that too, and I've been there, and but I hate that, and I don't know how to I'm working around that. Like Paula just
Yeah.
accept this. A lot of telesignatures was like that. A lot of telesignature was shoveling shit. Like it was stuff in brackets. Like I don't know what happens here. It's probably bad, and then moving on to like the next thing. Um, and that works, but I think it's just kind of trusting my own process. I think is something that's
Yeah.
the struggle at times. So yeah.
Sense.
This is a problem for future Paula.
For
Right.
future.
Yes, right.
Deal with this next week.
I
Not
know,
me,
right?
not
Like,
today.
yeah, I'm not worried about that today, but yeah, but thank you so much, Candace, for sharing that. That actually really helps put things in perspective because I really respect like like everybody here. I respect all y'all's like your hustle and
No.
your, like all y'all's prolificness and just all the different things you're involved in. I just think that's so
Ugh,
cool and I super am
stop
like
trying to make me cry.
no, I'm serious. I'm serious.
You're
Like
too
I have
sweet.
so much I have so much admiration for the
Wow.
people, every like all the folks in the community like who do the work, and you can tell it comes from a place of love, right? Like we do this work because it means something to us and it's so awesome when we get to like talk to each other and share about our process because like
Yeah,
there are so few
we're in the
spaces.
same tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so few spaces outside of, this where we get to do that. So I really do. I have like mad respect for all y'all. And so, just
Ooh,
keep doing
let's
what you're
end on that
doing.
high.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm such a fan. So, yeah.
Well, we'll keep doing what we're doing as long as you keep doing what
I
you're doing.
know.
Because I mean, we got to
Two-way
have you
street.
back on, right? So,
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's a good promise for
And
me to
to be fair, the schedules get all wonky because my family's dealt with some weird shit for the last 2 years, so it's getting normal again.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Good,
we've
good.
wanted you on for a while. We love your work. I
yeah.
Well,
think you're
thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you. I
I
try.
I got a comment from David Demchek that I want to read. It says,
Yeah.
Paula, why are you so awesome? And that's it. That's the question. So go ahead.
Yeah, you do have to answer that though. It
You
came with
do
a
have to
question mark.
answer. It's a
It is a
question.
question. It is a
It is a
question.
question.
David
I
is a
love
nice man.
David.
You have to answer.
I love him so much.
He
I
adores
don't
you.
know, man. I adore him as well. I don't know. I don't know. It's okay, so now this is the thing about me is if you ask me a question, I'm gonna try and answer it as best I can. Even if it was meant in jest, I'm still gonna try. So I had posted a picture of myself from like my senior year in high school, and everybody was like, "Oh, Paula, you look so cool!" Like for real, like, "Oh, Paula, you look so cool." Blah blah blah, and I'm like, that is not what I was thinking about myself when that picture was taken, and so I don't know. I just feel like I'm one of those uh people. Like I'm way more hard on myself than I need to be in a lot of different ways. Um, and but at the same time, it's like if you ever compliment me, then I'm going to interpret it as the me being hard on myself is what makes that like that's I'm awesome because I'm mean to myself. So
Not a good thing.
it's
All
not.
right.
It's really not. No, I but at the same time, I to not make it such of a bummer. At the same time, I'm very silly and I also give myself a lot of grace. So it's not just all like constant pressure and anxiety and stuff like that. I'm also a pragmatist at heart. And so I'm also like, shit doesn't work, let it go, so it's I try to keep that balance, so yeah.
So you're awesome because you tell yourself you're not.
Like I said, I'm gonna
I
start
feel
saying
you. I'm right there with you.
I'm a
It's
that's the
working.
thing, that's the thing that
Right
if
there
it
with
didn't
You
you.
can't
work, I
argue
would
with the
do
results. I
something else,
saw it. I don't like
but
how
it
you're mean to
works.
yourself. Like that
It
makes you
it does
sad.
work because I cannot take a compliment to save my life.
Me either. It
That is
sucks.
wild
But
to me.
like I never knew how. And when I was younger, like I was so used to being picked on and made fun of all the time that whenever somebody did compliment me, I was waiting for
You were
the
waiting for the you were
punchline.
waiting for the yeah waiting for the punchline, waiting for the joke, waiting for the
Hmm.
insult, and that's
Yeah,
it's like that thing that's on that's making the rounds on social media, like, the things that didn't kill me didn't make me stronger, but they gave me a good sense of humor. Like that's,
right.
you know what I mean? Like that's thanks a lot, trauma. Like,
Thank you, trauma squad.
Appreciate you.
Yay.
good looking out. Like,
But it's
yeah.
tr it's true though, because I mean, hell, if you're not laughing, chances are you're crying or drunk in a bar
Right,
somewhere.
exactly. You gotta, I mean, I think that's again with horror, like I think that's a lot of it. Like you gotta laugh at the shit. Like it's like it's terrible and like, so much of what, if you put a mirror up to humanity, it's sometimes it's too much. A lot of times
Mhm.
it's too much. And so I
Yeah.
think, it's we have to talk about these things. We have to take them seriously, but we also have to, you know, I know it sounds like dumb, but you also just gotta laugh at it sometimes. Like, because what else? What other options are there? They're
Yeah.
not they aren't pretty. So yeah.
But I think that's why people like us write the things that we write because one, somebody has to let the rest of them know that they're not alone.
Yes. Yeah. I think
You're
that's
not the only one.
you're not the
You're
only
not the
one.
only one. And as frightening as we make it, or as amplified as we make it, or as absurd, bizarre, over the top as we make whatever situation, the situation is still there. The
Right.
situation has been experienced by thousands,
Yeah.
thousands. The end at the end of it, we write it because we know there's people out there who need to read it, who need to know and understand they're not alone.
Yes.
There are people who have gone through this. There are people that have felt this. There are people that have cried the same tears as you, that have walked down that same pathway as you, and they have stood up again and they have come out of it and they have wiped their eyes and they said, you know what, I'm still going to survive this. I'm going to come out of this and I'm going to start again tomorrow because you know what? You keep going. This
Absolutely.
person kept going, the hero in the story kept going, they got back up. I can get back up too. And I think that's why a lot of us write the way we write because one, it helps us process.
Absolutely.
And two, there's someone who needs to hear it. There's someone who needs to read it. And if one of my books helps somebody get off the ledge, put the razor down, put the bottle down, then I'm done. I'm good. I don't have to sell another book because my one story helped that one person get off the ledge. Then my purpose on this earth, done. I'm golden.
Yeah. And how often can you say that? Like how often can you, I'm so glad you say that because that's also one of the things in, you know, in terms of like reactions to We Are Here to Hurt Each Other. I cannot tell you the number of people who have messaged me like, thank you for telling this story because I didn't know that anybody else experienced stuff like this, or I had this thing happen to me and I didn't have a language for it and now I do. And like that, I might cry because that's just really like that's everything. Like you said, like that's everything. And it is about knowing that you're not alone, that you're not the only person suffering these things. You aren't the only person, you know, thinking these thoughts. I really admire, I'm just kind of thinking like two writers who I really admire who talk about those sorts of things in their processes. Eric LaRocca and Terry Clark, who writes as Zen E. Rockland. And, you know, just I don't know. I talk about these things. I don't just mean like mental health stuff, but I think for so many people who have struggles with these with mental health stuff or like addiction or, you know, survivors of various traumas and abuse and stuff like that, you know, the self-help books can work. That's great. But for some of us, that just doesn't cut it, you know, like we need something, you know, we need something darker. We need something that's more raw. We need something
honest.
We need something honest, right? We need something authentic. And so I think, you know, if you know, if I can do that in my work, I think that's also a reason to why I have that pressure on me because I think I didn't expect that response from people, and to have that response just feels like a sacred thing, you know, like I'm not big on, you know, religion and stuff like that, but no, you know, like people believe what they believe, that's fine. But that exchange between like a creator and their audience and like that connection, that resonance, that to me is very sacred. And I take that very seriously.
Yeah. There's a phrase that I know we all use a lot. I know I use it a lot. Patrick uses it a lot. But to bleed on the page, it's not just meant for the person who's writing the book. We are bleeding on the page, sure, but the purpose is to make the reader bleed on the page.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when they go through those abuses and experiences and situations, they hold all that in. They don't know how to express it. They don't know how to let it go. And what we give them is a way to cut them open and let it out.
Let it out. Yeah.
It gives them a safe space to process that and to let that out and for them to bleed it out, cry it out. It lets them feel that and it lets them let go of that. Some people don't know how to do that, and a self-help book can't do that.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But we can because we're giving them permission to do that because we're sharing a little bit of our own pain with them and we're letting them know, I'm holding your hand. I have you, I got you, I walked this path, and now I'm going to show you how to walk it too. It's okay to let go.
Yeah.
And by the end of the book, a lot of them are able to do that. Or by the end of the next book, and as they read more and they realize they're not alone, it helps them process that. And that's why I do what I do. That's
Yeah. And I think for so many of us, like that was done for us, right? Like what we read growing up gave us that sense, that was a hand reaching out saying, I get it, you're not alone. Like that's what, we go back to those same core authors, those same core texts throughout our lives. And it feels like it's weird to say this, but like, like I read like I don't know, like The Hellbound Heart or something. And every time I read that novella, like it's just even though it's horrific and grotesque, it's so comfortable. It's so good.
It's so
but
good.
it's so comfortable for me because it's just like I remember, reading that in like in college and just dealing with a lot of stuff and like just feeling like somebody kind of gets it. I know that was one of my big, attractions to the work of Thomas Ligotti was like, oh, somebody else feels like the world is just, fueled by a relentless malevolence from space. Like I'm glad I'm not alone in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's yeah, it's all about letting people like creating a I don't mean the term safe space in the way it's been sort of bandied about, but like creating a safe space or a sacred space where you can bleed on the page and let that out and deal with some stuff in a way that we don't. Again, self-help books just doesn't cut it. So
you guys' talk made me just hearing you two talk made me realize that I'm super ADHD. Like it's been bad my whole life. It's been confirmed as a kid, and it sucks.
Yes.
And hearing you two talk triggered something. I'm like, holy shit! All my good guys are that, and all the bad guys are the neurotypicals because they're fucking assholes. Usually, all right, that's just how it's been.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
I never realized that. I've been writing for like 11 years.
That is so awesome. Whoa. I love that so much.
That's because of you two. Oh, you two are awesome.
I love that. I love that, Patrick, because I also have ADHD, and I wasn't diagnosed until I was in my mid 30s, so not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people. I know this is going to surprise all of you. I mask really well, and so I did really well in school because I learned very quickly if you do well in school, then people will leave me alone, right? They'll let me do what I want to do. If I can make it through the day, I might have a few, incidents or whatever. I can make it through the day and get like a good grade on something, then everybody will leave me the hell alone and I can, do my weird shit that I like to do. And that was my adolescence in a nutshell. And but yeah, I mean it's so hard having ADHD and just trying to function in a neurotypical world. It sucks so hard. And like, I empathize a lot with you on that, Pat. Like it's, I don't know. I like the guilt and the shame and the, why can't you do this? And fuck, I hate it. So like, kudos to you, man. That's awesome.
Thanks. And you know what? I don't know if many people talk about this, but like, I'm a straight white dude, but like I've never felt comfortable with groups of guys ever until I met my fellow horror writers, and crime writers.
Yeah. I mean,
it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think
I don't really know if it has to do with that though. I think it's just one of those things where you just didn't feel at home because you weren't with the right group of people with common interests. Because I've been working, so this is a true story since we went off on a tangent here last week. Last week, I had to go to my corporate Christmas get together after work in the office downtown, right?
That's the worst.
No, I've been in the corporate arena since I was 19 years old. I am corporate trained.
Oh, shit. I didn't know
Major corporations my entire life. I walk the walk. I do the whole thing. I know. But like you said about the masking, I never fit with this crowd. I did my job. I happened to get lucky into a job that I fell into, and I was good at it. Enough said. I stayed there. I had kids. I needed food. Hey, I stayed there. I'm 20 years in to almost the whole time at this same company. So we're down here the other night. We're downtown and I won't tell you what I do, but it's very boring. And I happen to be like my department, my team that I'm on is actually attached to our finance department, which is kind of funny because we have absolutely nothing to do with the finance department. So we sit with like the treasury department and the finance department. That's just who we're attached to. So it's me down here with this group of like 10 white males, 3 women, a couple of assistants, and they're all sitting there, well, standing there at the happy hour talking about, portfolios and investments. And, not a single
That's
person
my
has talked to
nightmare.
me the entire
So,
time. And I'm just
bunch of
standing there like,
nerds.
okay. And I'm so out of my element. And I'm standing there cracking up, just listening to this, like, I kill people in my spare time. I don't even know what I'm doing here. And
You're my hero,
like,
Candace.
I'm so used
real.
to masking and like, doing the small talk and doing this and that and the other. But you know what was weird about the other night? I didn't want to.
Kill people.
I just wanted to be me. And
Yeah.
I wanted one person to ask me about what I do, not my job, what I do, who I am.
Who you
I'm
are.
a writer. I'm a horror author. This is what I do. Words is my life. This is my living. This is what I was made to do. And I'm standing here with these people that I've worked with now for 7 or 8 years, and I did not feel like I belonged there again.
Oh,
I
man.
was hit with this whole feeling of I don't belong here, like on the outside looking in, and I was just so uncomfortable and so awkward. And it was like I had taken the mask off a couple years ago and didn't even realize it. Now I'm standing here like I don't belong here anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fake it. I don't want to fake like I belong here. I don't want to try to make the small talk anymore because I have no idea what they're talking about, and not a single person there knows anything about what I do. One person finally asked me about my books.
Wow.
One person.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
when I started speaking, the rest of them were like, oh, oh yeah, that is right. You do right. And I'm like, you don't even know, man. Like you don't
Let me
even
tell you
know.
about werebears, motherfucker.
Right.
It was just such a moment though, because that was probably one of the first times in my adult life that I wanted to be seen by my peers for who I truly am, and I didn't want to put the mask on. I did not want to stand there and fake like this was all fine. It's not fine. I'm not one
Nor
of
should you
them.
have to.
Right. Right. No, right. No, you
And
have
it was
to.
just,
Yeah.
but here, like, this is home. This is home. This online, the conventions, the horror communities, here by myself in the zone, and I'm hitting like beat after beat after beat. Whether I'm alone or at a convention, like, this is my home. This is who I am. And if you can't take 2 minutes to get to know me and find out who I really am, then
And they suck. Fuck them. I said it. Fuck
I
them.
don't want to mask anymore. Like I don't
have to.
want to mask because if I can stand there and take the 2 minutes to ask you about your job or how your year was or how your kids are, and I remembered your son's name or I remember this and that and the other, and I can, say something nice and kind to each one of you, but all 10 of them, however many of them were standing in our little group, not a single soul remembered who I was. And I
Ooh.
was just like,
Yeah.
Fuck
I
them,
don't
man.
want to do this anymore. Like I want to be
They
who I am.
suck.
Yeah.
And it's
it
nice
does.
though, because this allowed me for the first time in my life, writing has allowed me to be who I was intended to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not who I was trying to be, not who society told me I was expected to be, but who I was
What you are.
intended to be.
And I think that's I love I can't tell you how 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 much that resonates with me. And I, like, I work in academia, and so it's a little bit better, but it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, like, it's the vibe is just different. And so,
Yeah.
like, I went to StokerCon for the first time earlier this year, And
Yeah.
at first I was
Excited.
like, yes, I know, we spoke. I was like, oh my God, this kid is so, she's talking. Oh my
That
God.
was so funny. You go
That's how everyone reacts to you,
Do you
Candace.
believe
Get used
that?
to it.
I know, for
Listen,
real.
she's been in here for what, 10 years, 12 years, and she's fangirling over like me. And I'm like, why are we so excited?
No, I was so stoked. And I remember because I asked you, because I was like, Candace, you're so prolific. How do you do it? You look me dead in the eye and you're like, I get 4 hours of sleep.
On a good night.
Yeah.
On
I
a
was
good
like,
night.
okay.
Yeah, I have this brain that does not turn off. Like, that's
No.
my thing. I'm not
Yeah.
ADHD, but my brain is just like
It's just
overdrive.
going. Yeah.
Constant.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bananas.
But no, I cherish that memory. That was so awesome. And so, but that's the thing about like different before I went to any convention, like I don't think I had even gone to any before. Like I'd gone as like we have like a Comic Con in our, like in your town or whatever has like
Yeah,
a
like a
Comic Con,
Yeah.
like as a visitor, like an attendee,
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when I StokerCon and there are other cons I want to go to, I was supposed to go to VoidCon and I couldn't make it. And I was so disappointed. But I get now why people go to that's your people are there. You don't have to wear your mask. You can just be who you are. And I mean that experience was just so. I was like, holy shit! This is why people do it. This is why people go to these cons. They spend all this money, and it's like trying to explain to other people like what that means and how that it's indescribable. And so trying to explain to folks like, yeah, I'm gonna,
It's home.
yeah, it's home. It's absolutely home. Like I've never, been anywhere where I fit in. I talk about this a lot. Like it's rare for me to be in a space where all parts of who I am fit. And that's one of those spaces. The horror community is one of those places where I do. And that's amazing. So yeah.
And we are pleased to have you.
100%. Yep.
Thank you.
All right. I want to take us on a little sidestep here. Now, as a rule, we generally don't address social media drama and controversy, but
however,
I hear.
On today's show,
the people need to hear you weigh in on the moral righteousness of Cenobites.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, isn't this about the blue sky? The thing about the
I don't know. I saw a weird screenshot, and you are such a Cenobite Barker person that
I really am.
I know you have an opinion.
I do have an opinion. So people
Shout
were
out to Peter Atkins.
I got so apparently there was some drama on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck it's called now, and
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's not right. What and
stupid
some dumb shit. Anyway, and apparently there was I didn't see the original exchange, but it was something about how like Cenobites are bad or I don't know, some dumb shit. But basically somebody was like, this conversation is stupid. They took it to Blue Sky to talk about like just kind of like the moral, like, do Cenobites have a morality? And I've always just been on the side of no, they don't have a morality. They have nerve endings. They have sensation. They don't give a shit about what's right or what's wrong. And again, everybody kind of knows I'm such a dork about Hellraiser and the Cenobites. It's my favorite thing. And but yeah, I don't know. I find I like that people have these conversations, and like Brendan, since you mentioned it, I might have to crawl into the depths of Twitter X and find the original conversation, because now I'm curious, like, what did people actually say?
Who knows?
Because I mean, I'm sure it's not great, but I don't know. I just feel it never is. I'm so curious about people's interpretations of like the Cenobites and what they mean, and like, because I know I saw somebody say something like, like it's not fair that they would come after you, and would torture you for no reason. I'm like, you invited them. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That you
missed the first part of the book.
Right, that's like you invited them, like they it's not hands that call us, it's desire. You wanted them to show up. They don't just show up. Will it now? In some of the later films, does that happen? Yes, but that's something else. That's we don't that's something different. That's not the original mythos. So yeah,
it's like Jason going to space.
Right.
We're off the beaten track at this point.
Like we're at that point. It's we're not. It's not it's not any concern with like Barker's vision or the mythos of the Cenobites. It's like here's a movie. Let's put some Cenobites in it. The kids will like it. Like I think like 3 of the later films, not the Hulu version, but like 3 of the later films, they literally were based on scripts that had nothing to do with Hellraiser, and they literally just put some Cenobites in it to, the kids will dig it. So yeah,
kids love Cenobites.
Kids love Cenobites.
That would be an awesome T-shirt, man.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the hell I was gonna say, Brian.
Now somebody needs to make that shirt because
kids love Cenobites.
That's all I want.
That's actually
as an elementary teacher, I can confirm that kids love Cenobites.
Kids love Cenobites.
That's all the fucking 3rd graders talk about.
So what if we use the mascot from the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and put a bunch of pins in it? Sorry, I got a visual.
No, that's hilarious. Have y'all that line about kids love Cenobites? Have y'all seen that movie? I think When Evil Lurks or Where Evil Lurks. Have you seen that?
I want to so bad.
Y'all have got to watch that movie.
It's on my list. I've not watched it yet.
Looks like it's gonna scare the crap out of me.
Rough. That movie is not playing around. Like that. It's the same guy. If you saw Terrified, not Terrifier, not the movie with the clown, but Terrified. It's a Argentinian horror film. And that movie is like that. I don't. Like I say stuff like this all the time. I don't scare easily, but I don't scare easily. But that movie had me in my house. Like I had a cat, like just like put the cat over around the corner to make sure shit all right. Because I got I was scared in my own house after watching that movie. So yeah, if you haven't seen Terrifier or Terrified or When Evil Lurks, I highly recommend them. And that it made me think of that because there's a line in that film that says children like evil and evil love, or children love evil and evil loves children. And
I can also confirm that.
Yeah. Being a 3rd grade, there's a reason why I teach. I mostly teach adults because
smart move.
Horrifying.
For sure.
I know, but I'm watching on Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. So
one day I won't work.
A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott. Yep.
No, that's not what I'm watching.
Oh, different.
I watched the Muppet Christmas Carol on Christmas Eve because that's the best version of a Christmas Carol.
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
My family always watched the George C. Scott version when I was little, and I was scared shitless of it because the version of Marley in that version is horrifying. But
it really is.
I've ever seen that.
Not for children.
No.
Or at least cowardly children like me.
I really like Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That movie's awesome. It's so funny.
That movie's so funny. It's ridiculous, but it's super funny. I like that one.
He's hilarious. Like he doesn't have to do anything. He just talks.
And it's fun. He
plays that shit up so good.
Yeah, my family is weirdly into like 80s and 90s action movies.
That's cool.
Like I grew up on like a lot of like Steven Seagal and
Lethal Weapons. The shit.
Lethal Weapons.
Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like Bloodsport was like good movie.
I thought you were gonna say the what's the one where he's a hitman? I forget what it's called.
There's like 5 of them.
Yeah, like which one?
The Professional. No, it's called Leon the Professional. That's the one.
That's not Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's Jean Reno.
That's Jean Reno.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Natalie dudes. Portman. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know it. I know. Congrats. I'm a dumbass, Brennan.
Well, Paula corrected you too, so it's not just me.
Man, I got thrown under the bus.
Oh shit. Okay.
I was about to, so it's okay. So now you've been corrected by all of us.
No,
You
it's
were
fine.
about to get triple corrected.
Triple threat right here.
Wherever I go, this happens, man.
Oh no.
You're the one who decided to keep me on the show. I tried to tell you it was
Because I
a bad
love
idea.
you. You're like a big sister. You and Mercedes Yardley.
I am 27 hamsters in a trench coat. I don't know what to tell you.
She said 27
Don't know what kind of reply
It's
that
actually
is
more
even.
hamsters than that, but yeah.
Huh? So about we wrap up with that
Oh,
because
goodness.
I don't know
I
what
Where do you
suppose.
go from there anyway?
Yeah,
don't know.
I
I
don't
can top
know.
that.
I mean, I could ask her like 5 more questions. I had a list, but all right.
Okay, do you think I'm not gonna rush
No, I'm
you?
just kidding.
I'm all good. If
Yeah,
y'all want to keep
yeah.
going, cool. If
Yeah.
y'all want to wrap it up,
No, we're fine.
I'm good with either. I'm good with either. So.
Go ahead, Patrick. Do you think, sir?
I don't know what my thing is.
Final thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I could tell you, but you should probably ask
Just
your wife what your thing
just put
is.
Candace in charge.
How about we do final thoughts?
Tag team. What? Wrong way. There. Okay, it's not working. Tag team Candace.
Final thoughts. Paula, we'll start with you, my dear. Anything you want to say, add on, mention, what's coming next, what you're working on now, what you're looking forward to? The floor is
Goodness.
yours.
Oh my. I am so bad at this every time I get put on the spotlight. Yeah, I mean, I have eventually some stuff will be coming for me. I can't give you any dates because I don't know. But I'm on all of the socials at Paula D Ashe. I don't follow me on Twitter though because I'm there but I'm not there. But all the other
Smart.
all the other social media
Seriously.
things I'm there except for like the weird ones like Threads. I don't know about that, but Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook.
That's just weird.
I think that's all. So yeah, that's I got nothing, Candace. I got nothing. I've failed you.
Oh shit.
All right. Well, you didn't fail
Downhill.
anyone ever anytime soon, but we will move on to Brennan and his final thoughts, sir.
Paula, you are a gem. I'm so happy that we could make this happen, and that it finally gave me an excuse to pick up that collection and read it because it's fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I am psyched to read more from you as it emerges. And I also want to uncharacteristically use my final thoughts to ask Patrick a question. Patrick,
What's up, man?
listening
Feels like a trap.
it is not.
It feels
Listening
like
to
a fucking
Candace,
trap,
like
bro.
kind of lead today, and the way she handled the opening question, like, do you feel superfluous? Because I do.
That's a big word that I don't know the fucking meaning of. Please explain it to me.
That's embarrassing.
Dude, what am I gonna do?
Extraneous.
I don't have Google built in my brain, okay? I don't know the words you're gonna say
Do-
next.
Do you
Sounds like a
feel like
made-up
a
word.
Do you feel like a fucking backpack right now?
I feel like a backpack with these two
Not needed,
number one seed, baby.
unnecessary.
What's wrong with
No, Candace, you were
so the backpack's full of
you were
funny.
wonderful host material.
You were,
We
Candace, and
can't put
are.
the co in front of you today because you
I don't do that anymore.
No, there were some really wonderful moments that absolutely fall to you. So thank you for coming. And Patrick, thank you for
I work here.
hitting the record button.
I was gonna say like thank you for coming. She
No,
always-
no, you work
I
you
work
work here,
here.
but
These
my
final
God, you stole
thoughts
the
suck.
show tonight. You stole the show tonight.
Can it be my turn already, man?
Let's throw it to Patrick before I
All right,
embarrass
Patrick,
myself.
final thoughts, sir. Final thoughts.
Paula, thank you for being super patient. We all truly do love you. Candace, you
thank
too. You two are like jazz queens, which is incredibly. It's hard to be a good jazz player. Ask Brian. He knows. He knows this jazz shit. So it's really cool talking to you both. Brennan, I guess I enjoyed talking to you, buddy. Just kidding.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was adequate
right.
at best.
It's all right.
It was adequate.
On a scale of 4 to
Yeah.
chocolate chip
It was
cookies.
fine.
Yeah.
Patrick
that's fine.
McDonough, my acquaintance. It's been a time.
It was okay.
We spoke words to each other through a microphone. Okay.
All right.
The terrible
Enough of
final
that
thoughts.
nonsense.
Candace, take over.
Okay, so over to me. Let me see. Final thoughts. Didn't I do a good job tonight?
Such a great job.
You did.
Yes, I did.
Awesome job.
Anyway, Paula, thank you so much for joining us
Absolutely.
and for being such an amazing person and author and role model and constant source of inspiration. I truly do think you are amazing, and stop pressuring yourself, ma'am.
Fine.
Just
It
guess-
let it
sounds
go.
like an order. If I'm
Yeah.
I
honest,
mean,
it sounds
you
like an
know,
order.
when Candace Nola tells you to get your shit together, you get your shit
I
together.
didn't
So
say get your shit
Oh, we
together.
know.
Stop pressuring yourself because, ma'am,
We're naughty.
you're a natural
thank you.
and you have a raw gift in you
Mhm.
that whether you see it as perfection as you being a perfectionist or not, I think you just need to ride that wave and just let it flow because you're meant to do this. It'll come out as it should when it should. Take that pressure off
right.
and just embrace it. Be you because everything you write is going to top the last because you're
Oh.
only going to improve. So just, it's like fine wine with you. There's nowhere for you to go but up. So just, yeah.
And
Constant
remember,
source
Thank you.
of inspiration.
and
Thank you so
remember
much,
that when
Candace.
Candace Nola says jump, you get those goddamn feet off the ground.
Off the ground.
And don't forget to drink your water.
That
Yes!
sounds like
Hydration.
sounds like
that
funny
was
ass
like
ad.
one of the very few things about Twitter that I enjoyed was Candace would pop in and be like, "Hey, I love you. Drink some water." I'd be like, "I love her so much."
They're good reminders.
Do you
I love
know?
you too. I am drinking it.
Here's
Right.
my final
Yeah,
thought
Paula.
on that. Since you mentioned that, because I've been dying to say this out loud because I found it hilarious. Do you know somebody tried to troll me on Twitter for telling people to drink their water for my
Troll you
little
about what?
drinking?
Wait, yeah, what were they
Like
trolling?
water is bad? Like what were they
Like, yeah,
what?
like he what did they say? Something like, so yeah, we're supposed to listen to some rando now trying to tell everybody what they're supposed to drink. And he was like, I'll drink beer if I want to. And I was like,
It's
all right,
fucking
bud,
water.
All right.
I was like, you're so angry for water.
Well, hey,
Why are you mad about water?
would he have
The
oppositions to
main
you?
liquid since 0 BC.
Would he have
That's-
any oppositions against you being pro like oxygen? Do you think he would have an issue with that?
Man,
Like
I just laughed.
Like,
Oh,
I'll fucking
Patrick,
breathe
argue
carbon
about the
dioxide
dumbest
if I want to.
Just the dumbest shit to argue about and be that's a whole nother conversation. Just
I do have a favor, Paula, to ask since we are in the final wrap, and I don't want to extend it anymore since we already did final thoughts. There is one more question on Twitter X shit show. I mean Twitter X.
Twitter exit show.
Shitter.
Dumpster fire.
We did forget to ask one, so if you could
Sure,
pop on there and maybe answer that question. I do believe somebody was asking what got you into horror and what one of your favorite horror novels is, if I'm recalling that correctly. So if you could jump on there maybe tonight or tomorrow and answer that one, that would be super awesome.
Yeah, no problem. I can do that. Yeah. Thank you
Alright.
for letting me know. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So I think we're done. You said where people can find you. Brennan, where can people find you, sir?
BrennanLaFaro.com has all the things you need.
All the things you need. Patrick.
Every one.
Whoa. Super duper rude dude, sir. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram. I don't know, Facebook, I guess. Threads.
Wow, that's
Do you like
that's a
Threads?
weird one.
You're
Don't
on
do Threads.
It's
We're
weird.
like, wow, Threads. Well,
I've made
Loser.
what's
I've
that?
I've seen
Bye.
writers that like I don't see on Twitter. It's a weird. I don't know what the algorithm is.
There's no one good place right now.
No,
Let's face
it's
it.
all-
not everything.
I
is
know,
so
dude. I'm just looking around. I want to see like as
fractured.
many people as I can. You know,
Yeah.
I
Alright.
try to read widely.
Well, you can find me at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, uncomfortablydark.com, and my own personal website under Candace Nola. Anywhere. Find me. I'm out there.
Next episode will be 228. Joshua Roundtree. We're going to be talking some Weird West with him. As always, you have many choices in podcasts. Thank you for picking us.